Hi, I'm Keith Brink, Director of the Upward Bound Programs at the University of Arkansas. Welcome to the 2023 Summer Academy Orientation for Rising Juniors and Rising Seniors. The purpose of today's orientation is to talk about move-in, the weekly check-in and out schedule and important dates to remember for Summer Academy 2023. We'll also go over the daily schedule, academics, activities, things you can expect while you're here. And then, of course, we'll talk about the Summer Academy Handbook, which you need to be very familiar with as far as all the rules and guidelines before you actually come this summer. And then we'll go over all the forms that you need to mail back to the Upward Bound office. You've been included in your packet a return envelope that you'll mail back all your forms with. And just while we're on the topic of the packet, be sure that you have that with you now while you're reviewing the orientation. Or if for any reason you have not received your packet, be sure to contact the Upward Bound office so we can get one to you. In your packet, you should find this form. This is the move-in form, and it has the time of move-in, which will be on Sunday, June 4th, 2023. And we want all of our juniors to actually arrive between 4:30 and 5:15, and then our seniors to arrive between 5:15 and 6 p.m. The reason we've broken it up is that way not everyone is arriving at once. Parents, you should expect to be there no more than about an hour to help your child, your student move into the residence hall. And of course, if you have any questions on move-in day, you have the numbers there for our Upward Bound Senior Advisor and Upward Bound Junior Advisor. Be sure to text or call if you have any difficulties in finding the residence hall, or if you need to ask any questions or have a late arrival or anything that might be wondering about that particular day. On your move-in card, you also have a map on the back. This year we'll be staying in Futrall Hall, where we did last summer. And if you were at sophomore summer, it's the same residence hall we were in as well. Also, there's some information about what to pack, which we'll also go over a little bit later in this orientation. I did want to talk a little bit about pickup times during our weekly checkout, so you have another form. And parents, this will be very important to you as you come and pick up your child on Friday afternoons. So again, for Summer Academy, students are going to be there from Sunday evening through Friday afternoons, with pickup time beginning at 12:15 through 12:45 for our Upward Bound seniors, and juniors being picked up between 12:45 and 1:15. Fridays we'll have morning classes, and then we'll have pizza in the residence hall, and then do our pickups. But we want all students to be picked up by 1:15, or otherwise they'll have to wait for their ride in the Upward Bound offices in Futrall Hall. As far as picking up goes, we have some designated parking lots that the university is allowing us to use during our pickup times on Fridays. So remember, you don't want to park in just anywhere on campus as you might be ticketed, but between 11:45 a.m. and 1:30 p.m., parking lot 37 and parking lot 75 are available for you to park in. Or if your student is coming to you, there is limited parking around Futrall Hall that you can do, but just be very careful not to park in undesignated lots, as you might be fined for parking on campus without a permit. So a couple of things that I want to go over as far as, again, weekly check-in and check-out. So obviously we're going to have move-in on June 4th, and again, that will start at 4:30 p.m. for all of our juniors. And then the first checkout will be on Friday, June 9th. And our regular checkout times on Fridays is always from 12:15 to 1:15, with seniors being picked up from 12:15 to 12:45, juniors from 12:45 to 1:15. And again, we have that sort of checkout card or pickup instruction card in your packet for reference. And then that move-in card also for details, again, outlining move-in day and where to find us on campus. We're going to be in Futrall Hall. There'll be plenty of signage on that particular day, and you'll have plenty of opportunity to park around the residence hall on that day for move-in. For the next 3 weeks of the program, weeks 2, 3, 4, our regular check-in will be on Sunday, which will be in the evenings from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. So it's very important not to arrive early, as students won't be able to get into the residence hall until 7:30. So between 7:30 and 8:30 p.m., parents, if you're bringing your child or if you're driving to the program, get to the residence hall during that time frame, but don't try to come too early, as you won't be able to get in. And then checkout, again, will always be on Fridays during those weeks at our normal checkout time, which is 12:15 to 1:15 p.m. as we've referenced earlier. Week 5, since it includes the July 4th holiday and also our move out on Saturday, July 8th, will be a little bit different than the normal check-in on the earlier weeks. One of the things that you have in your packet is a little card that says preference for July 4th holiday. One of the things that we want you to do is decide if you plan to come back and check in on July 4th, and if so, you'll be coming to the residence hall at between 3 and 4 p.m. and attending the baseball game. If for some reason you would rather wait and spend that time with your family, you can choose to do the late check-in and come actually the next morning on July 5th, but it will be an early check-in time from 7 to 7:45 a.m. so that you can make it to classes that next day. Or if for any reason there will be a difference in those times, then you'll need to make sure that you've filled out an absence request and a later check-in time, and you can note that on the card as well. Also want to note that during week 5, on Thursday, July 6th, we plan to have our Upward Bound Talent Show. So this is where all of the students have an opportunity to showcase their talents, and we always like to invite any friends and family that would like to attend to this particular event. More details will come later in the program so that you'll know where to park and where the event will actually be taking place. And then finally, our last day of Summer Academy will be on Saturday, July 8th. So we'll have our awards ceremony beginning at 10 a.m. and then move out will begin approximately 11:30, and we'll have about an hour to move out of the residence hall. And again, we'll have more information about award ceremony and move out later on as we get closer to that particular date. One of the things I would also like to note here is all of these events, check-in, check-out, will be on the Upward Bound calendar, so you can always go to ub.uark.edu to check any of these things out and find any postings that will have or any more detailed information about that. And then finally, our end of summer trip is something that is available to all of our Summer Academy students. So as long as students are in good standing, meaning they've earned their good grades, haven't had a C or below in any of their classes, have also been on their best behavior or had no write-ups or extensive write-ups in the residence hall, they are eligible to go on the end of the summer trip, which is August 1st through the 3rd. During our final week of the program and during checkout, we'll have more information about our end of summer trip, but this year there will be a little bit of a gap between the end of Summer Academy and our end of summer trip. But this year we'll be going to Dallas, Texas, and we'll have a full itinerary to share with the students and move out on July 8th. Now I'd like to turn things over to Lacey Gebhardt, our Associate Director, who's going to talk a little bit about our schedule, what to expect on a daily basis while you're here in the Summer Academy, as well as go over and hit some very important highlights from our student handbook.
Hi everyone, I'm Lacey Gebhardt. I am the Associate Director of Upward Bound Programs here at the University of Arkansas, and I am joined by
Darcy Hayes. Hello everyone, I'm your residential coordinator. Some of you know me, some of you I'm going to be a new face, but we're so excited to have you back this summer.
Yeah, so Darcy is leading up our residential staff. She'll be living in the residence hall with the students, making sure that everything goes smoothly, ensuring safety, and we're just so happy to have you back this summer.
Yes, I'm so excited.
All right, so at Upward Bound this summer, we like to work really hard and also have a whole lot of fun. So our schedule is pretty packed. We start the morning off with breakfast. We'll be eating in the Fulbright Dining Hall in the Northwest Quad. So there will be lots of different options for what you can eat for breakfast. And then we'll roll right on into our academic classes for the morning. You will get your personal schedule of classes whenever you move in. Some of those will be based on your grade level and the classes that you'll be taking. So for example, if you are a senior, you'll be taking senior English, and some other ones will be based on your preferences, so your electives, and Keith will talk more about that form a little bit later. Again, we'll have lunch together, and after lunch, we'll have our electives and our seminar classes, and then after that we'll have on Mondays, we'll have our group meeting where we'll all come together, talk about the upcoming events for the week, make sure we're all on the same page about what we need to do and what's coming up. Those other days of the week, we'll have quiet study time. So we'll have just that 45 minutes right after classes to get caught up on any homework you might have or any assignments you need to catch up on. So then after our study time or our group meeting, we'll have our personal recreation time. And that's a time where students can really choose what they would like to do and what would be most beneficial for them. So for example, some of our Upward Bound students are student athletes. So you might want to go to the Hyper Gym on campus, obviously supervised by one of our residential staff members to work out and stay prepared for your sports and things like that. You might want to just have some quiet time in your room, take a nap, chill out. That's totally fine too. Some students might want to be in the lobby area of the residence hall playing games. There's a lot of Uno happening at Upward Bound, some pool, there are ping pong tables. We also have what we call mentor club activities. So each of our residential staff members will have clubs that students can be a part of based on the mentor's interests. So once we get to know our mentors a little bit better, we know what those clubs will be. But the schedules for that will be posted around the residence hall. And then we'll have dinner. And then in the evenings, sometimes we'll have mentor family activities. So each residential staff member is assigned a group of about 8 to 10 students, and that makes up their mentor family. And you'll do small group activities with this group. Also, we'll be competing throughout the summer. So if you are honored with Student of the Week at our group meeting, you'll get points for your mentor family. And we'll have some other competitions throughout the summer. We'll also have several special activities or events throughout the summer. So we might have a night where we go out and have dinner together on Dixon Street. Your mentor family will go together, and Upper Bound will obviously provide the funds for you to have that dinner, but you would have a special dinner together. Or maybe some of the other things that we're going to be doing this summer include a talent show. We'll have barbecue at Wilson Park. We'll have nights where we go to the Hyper Gym, and students will have the opportunity to swim. Lots of different things. We have something different pretty much every night. Then in the evenings, we have on floor time, which is a time to start getting ready for bed, to make sure your teeth are brushed, you have everything that you've done everything that you need to do to get ready for lights out at 11 p.m. Now, I'm going to ask you to please take some time to completely go through this student handbook, this Summer Academy handbook, to make sure that you know all of our procedures that are listed within the handbook. There are just a few that I wanted to point out as policies and procedures that are just very important to us here at Upper Bound. So one of the things that's really important to us as a program is that we do not have any drugs or alcohol at our program. That is a policy that if you are found to be breaking, we would immediately have you go home for the summer. We're just not able to be successful as a program if that sort of thing is taking place. Another policy that's really important to us, so within the residence halls, we're divided by floors, and so the different floors will have guys or gals living on that floor. One of our very important policies that we don't ever break is that there will be no guys on the gals floors and no gals on the guys floors. We're also very intentional about being welcoming and kind to everyone, so we will not tolerate any sort of bullying or unkindness in that way. That's just really important to us, that everybody feels safe and comfortable at Upward Bound. Also within the summer handbook is a great list of things to make sure that you bring to the summer and some things to make sure that you leave at home. So please take a look at that. So I'd like to point out another piece of information that we're going to need back from you, which is your Summer Academy roommate card. So on this card, you'll put your name and you'll also put your roommate preferences. So if you know who you want to room with and that person wants to room with you and both of you put each other as roommate choice number one, then unless there are extenuating circumstances, you will be roomed together. But if maybe you meet someone at an Upper Bound Saturday Academy or you're not really sure, you could put up to 3 preferences. You could also put that you have no preference, and in that case, I will get to play roommate matchmaker and try to put you with somebody that I think would be a great fit for you to be roommates with over the summer. This card also asks for your t-shirt size and your dietary restrictions. So dietary restrictions are a little bit different than dietary preferences. So for example, I do not like cilantro. That's a dietary preference, but one of my friends is vegan, and so that is a dietary restriction where there are certain things that they can't eat. So if you have a dietary restriction, we'd really like to know about that so we can accommodate you to the best of our ability. So be sure and fill that out in its entirety, your name, who you want to room with, or if you don't have any preference on who you room with, plus your t-shirt size and any dietary restrictions.
In your orientation packet, you have a group of forms that are color-coded. So I want to go over each of those with you, tell you which ones you need to sign, and make sure that you mail back to us. you'll mail back these forms in the return envelope that's also included in your packet. The first one I want to talk about is the check-in, check-out authorization form, which is the gray form. It looks like this. This form, make sure that you've discussed with your parents if you're going to be allowed to check yourself out and into the program on Sundays and Fridays, or during our regular checkout time. If so, you'll just have checked the yes, I authorize student to check in and out on regular check in and out times. Parents, if you'd like to actually be there and walk the student in during check-in, or be there to also check the student out to ensure that they get to and from you safely, you can put no, the student is not authorized. And we would only release that student once you have actually checked them out yourself or have listed someone on the form down here that is allowed to check them out. The other thing that will be important on this form is to check or at least list up to 6 people who are allowed to check the student in and out of the program on non-regular check-in and out days. So this would be, for example, if a student had an appointment they needed to go to or check out for some emergency reason during a normal or not normal time during the program. So for example, if they had a dental appointment, a doctor appointment, those students can be checked out, but we will have to make sure it's authorized on this form. Second form on here is the statement or acknowledgement of student commitment form. So that is that white form, and this form is important for you to go ahead and have you and your parents sign. This just confirms that you've actually completed the orientation, you're familiar with the handbook, and it will also serve as your sort of ticket for your May stipend participation. So please return that along with this so we can actually verify that you have actually seen the orientation, your parents have reviewed the orientation, and that you are familiar with everything in the student handbook for Summer Academy. You'll also want to return your roommate card that Lacey probably touched on. Also your electives card. This is going to be the electives that you will be taking during Summer Academy. So we'll have juggling, art, filmmaking, as well as chess this summer. So be sure to check those, and there will also be an opportunity. We'll send you some links so you can actually look at some videos if you're still trying to decide which elective you would like to choose. And then finally, don't forget about that red card, the July 4th card, to give us some information about what your plans are on July 4th and when you'll be checking back into the program. There also is an optional form that is in there, that is the medical authorization form. If you are a new participant and just attended the new student orientation, you will have just updated this, so there's no reason for you to turn this back. If you're a returning student, however, and something has changed on your medical authorization form, meaning that maybe your insurance coverage has changed, or if you're on any different medications or have a different medical condition that you need to list for us, please update that and send that in. And then there's another form in your packet, the blue form. This is the absence request form. You only need to turn this form back into us today if you know that you already have some absences that you'll be requesting prior to coming this summer. Otherwise, these forms will be made available actually on move-in and throughout the Summer Academy if something comes up. But if you know of some dates already in advance, for example, maybe a dental appointment or a short 1 or 2 days that you may be absent this summer, go ahead and fill it out so we'll know that in advance as well. And then finally, if you are planning to drive a vehicle to campus, drive yourself to and from the Summer Academy, and will be parking that vehicle on campus, you'll need to fill out the vehicle authorization form. So parents, you'll need to verify and authorize your student, your child, to be able to drive to and from campus and park the vehicle by signing that form. And in addition, there's some information there about getting a parking permit through the university's Parking and Transit. You'll need to do that actually in person because we have a list of students that will be attending our Summer Academy. That way they can actually verify that you're coming to the Summer Academy as a non-university student and can provide you with the opportunity to have a permit. There will be approximately $25 to $30 for that particular summer parking, but you'll need to do that. Otherwise, you won't be allowed or you won't be able to park your vehicle on campus. The other thing about authorization for vehicles is we make sure that the parents understand that the student will only be allowed to use their vehicle to drive to the program or to actually leave the program. So on regular check-in and check-out days, otherwise the student's keys will be secured with the program and will only be issued to them on check-in or check-out times. So please return all your completed paperwork in that return form. Send it in to us. If you have any questions, be sure to go to our Upward Bound website. So again, we'll be posting a lot of information as the summer goes on about particular dates, particular information. especially like for our move out times. Even our trip information will be coming to you a little bit later, but you can always email our office, you can call the main office, and of course contact our Upward Bound advisors. For Upward Bound juniors, that's going to be Melinda Heater. For Upward Bound seniors, that's going to be Angel Leach. But please also know that you can call us anytime if you have any questions. We look forward to seeing all of you in June.